All right. Hello and welcome everyone to another episode of Rollin Heavy. I am your host and head chef, Big D, joined as always by my sous chef, the Notorious BOF. How are you tonight, my friend?
I am always too Seuss.
To sous.
How about you, Chef?
I'm doing fantastic. I got myself a tasty beverage tonight. We're talking Clash at the Castle tonight, and we're gonna watch it live tomorrow.
Yes, we are. What beverage are you dining on tonight, Chef?
We've just got a rum and coke tonight. Nothing fancy,
Oh, very nice.
nothing fancy, but it gets the job done. Tastes good, feels good.
hmm I myself am treating myself to a golden spike. It's not as good as a Samoa spike, but it's just as good.
Oh, I like what you did there.
See what I did? That's wordplay. Word.
Yes, that is. That's why we keep you on the show.
Hey, Chef. I gotta bring something to
You
the
got to bring
table.
something to the table.
Had a little Christopher Walken going on right there. But
And speaking of the table, I want to welcome the millions and
and millions.
millions of members from the buffet line to the table, and a special shout out to Amber, who gets the chef table this week. She sent us some questions that we will hopefully answer throughout the show, but anything that we missed, we'll make sure to answer after we kind of go through all of our predictions. So thank you, Amber, and welcome to the chef's table this week. And yeah, so today, talking Clash of the Castle, it happens tomorrow. Obviously, we are on the exact same time as SmackDown. So whatever happens at SmackDown, we can't really predict what's going to happen tonight and then into tomorrow. But we will go through the announced match card at this point, what we think is going to happen, and kind of where we think things are going to go forward. And I'm sure it'll be a journey,
It'll
as
be
it
a
all
journey.
as it always is. We're taking multiple trips.
It's yep. I hope you got your. We always talk about take it to go bag to the buffet line because you're gonna need it.
Hope you brought your stretchy pants.
Yep.
All right, getting us started off. Women's tag team title match. We've got the EST and Jade Cargill versus Shayna Baszler, Zoe Stark, and Isla Dawn and Alba Fire in a triple threat three-way tag match for the women's tag team titles. Why don't you go ahead and kick us off with this one?
Uh, I think this is. I mean, let's be honest. This is a filler match, honestly. Like, I don't see anything like major happening. I see EST and Jade retaining the title. Um, Things might get interesting because it's a three-way match, so they don't have to get pinned to lose.
Right.
But I mean, basically, this basically happened on SmackDown last week, and Jade and EST walked away. I don't think it wasn't a three-way, but they still came out on top. So I think that's going to happen this week. But to make it interesting, I can see them dropping the title to maybe Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, just because there's the rumor that EST might be taking a leave of absence because she's got a butt in the oven. Um, so obviously, she wants to be safe for the baby, and taking bumps, a couple times a week is not a very safe environment for the baby. That's going to cause some problems. So
That's
I can
fair.
see that. I can see them dropping the title to um, Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark, um, which opens the door for Jade to maybe start her singles career and joining Money in the Bank and making a run at Money in the Bank, and then winning Money in the Bank, and then starting that journey, and then how the SmackDown title and everything goes.
Yep.
You know, maybe she makes a run there. But when we get up to that, I'll probably bring more in that there. But so On the surface, I see Jade and EST retaining the title, but I wouldn't be surprised if they do drop it.
Yeah, I honestly I don't expect a whole lot from this one. On Raw, Shayna and Zoe had a match with Isla and Alba, and it was essentially a squash match. Like it was a 2.5 minute match. It really wasn't anything. And Shayna caught I can't remember which one in a submission, and it was over. Like it was super quick squash match. It was so fast that they didn't even air it on the Hulu replay the next day. Um, I had to find a replay cast.
Gotcha.
So I don't expect much to happen of this. If Bianca and Jade lose, neither one of them are getting pinned. It's either Isla and Alba pinning either Zoe or Shayna or Zoe pinning Isla or Alba.
For sure. Yeah,
Like
EST or J, they're not losing it directly.
no, if they do lose, which I think is an outside chance. Um, I don't know who it goes to. I don't really care. Maybe it goes to Isla and Alba because they're the hometown crowd, favorites. But honestly, I don't see them losing. And the only reason they would lose is if those rumors are true and Bianca's gonna take some time off, which would allow the Jade push. We've talked about this a lot. Jade's come a long way over the last couple of months. She's doing a lot better in the ring. So
yeah, she just needs promos.
Yep.
She needs to know how to make a promo. She smiles and flexes, which is fine, but if you're gonna be on that, kind of main card, women's roster, you need to be able to cut a promo.
Yes.
So
I think she's not quite there on that yet.
Not so much.
Yeah. So personally, I see Bianca and Jade hitting the flippy DDT on one of the other 4 people, and then that's the end of it.
Yep, that's usually how these 3-way tag matches go, right? It's gonna be fine. It's gonna be bedlam at first, and then they're gonna get control, and then it's fight, and then there's gonna be 3 people in the ring, 3 people out of the ring, and then fight. One person gets pushed. One of the 2 in the ring gets knocked out of the ring, and then the other partner, whoever is going to win the match, that's how you know who's going to win, is after about 15-20 minutes into the match, after all of the chaos, the 2 that are in the match, 2 in the ring against one other person, there's your winning title. There's your winning team right there.
Yeah, so we're going to see a Z360 from Zoe. Shayna's going to get the Karafuda clutch on somebody, but it's going to be broken up by one of the other tags, and then there's going to be 3 people knocked on the outside. They're going to get the flippy DDT and then win.
Yep, and then win, and then flex and smile.
Yep, they'll do their little flex thing. Bianca probably does her, my knees hurt, but I can still put you on my back and do a big old power slam. But overall, yeah, that's what I see happening. I don't expect much from this. I expect it to be a 2-plater.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if I went back for thirds. But yeah, it's not going to be match of the night, that's for sure.
No, but I mean, it's a premium live event, and with this matchup that they have now, like I think it's showing kind of a pretty big deficiency in the women's tag division just in general.
Yeah,
like there's really not a whole lot. Like you have EST and Jade, and then like the Kabuki Warriors.
Like, especially in the tag town or in the tag team ranks for sure.
Yeah, like there's Piper and Chelsea Green, but
let's be honest, Piper's on the way to be a singles competitor.
Yeah, I mean, and she's just better than Chelsea
for sure.
So I hope to see her kind of make a return to more singles stuff. But I mean,
I think she's better as a singles competitor.
I agree.
I
Me
mean,
too. But we'll get into that as we get into to Bailey and Piper. But yeah, there's not a whole lot going on with the women's tag division, which is sad because it's entertaining. Like EST and Jade are very entertaining to watch. There's just not a whole lot for them to perform with.
there's just it's not a lot of competition in
No,
that in those ranks. There's just not. I mean, it's
and
that needs to go through like maybe an overhaul. What can we actually do? You know?
yeah, and it's. I mean, I'm tired of watching Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark.
Yeah.
That's just there's not much. All of their matches are exactly the same.
Yep.
They don't offer a whole lot. I haven't seen much between Isla and Alba because I watched their 2.5 minute squash match from Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's some prospects. Bailey and Naomi have this thing going on where they're kind of best buds, and so you can maybe get something with them, and Damage Control. So there are options there, but it's just, I mean, it's lacking.
Yeah, but even Damage Control, I'm tired of like Damage Control and like Io Sky and her drunken monkey walking down the aisle thing. I'm like, cool, but I don't understand. Like she's just like going crazy for no reason. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
cool. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know.
I think there's potential with the women's tag division, but it definitely needs some help right now. There's lots of really good talent in the women's division, but it's mostly focused on singles competitors. But I think there's some things that they can do, possibly with this, new Wyatt faction that they've been teasing for the last few months.
Yeah, I have that was one of the questions asked by Amber. Yeah.
So we could talk about that a little bit later, but I think
We'll talk about that. But I have there's another question she asked about Carmella making a comeback too. So, which would fit into this, but
yeah,
we'll talk about that because that doesn't fit into our the Clash conversation.
Yeah. So women's tag title match. I've got Bianca and Jade winning with the flippy DDT in an average match. That's why it's going to be the opener.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think you've got the same.
I got the same. Like,
there's a possibility of some shenanigans, but we don't. Neither of us think it's going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen. I mean, like, yeah, does Damage Control show up? Like, what? Like, I don't know. I don't. Do the Kabuki Warriors show up? I don't know. Like, I don't know. Or do they just flat out drop it? And everybody's like, wow, we did not see that happen. Because that would be that would to make it exciting and for people to talk about it the next day. EST and Jade need to drop the title. It's the only way they get talked about. That's the only way it becomes a cooler, water cooler conversation is if they drop the title.
I mean, I don't know. Even if they drop the title, I think it's still passively talked about with the rest of the stuff going on the card.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the main conversation, right? Maybe it's not the early morning.
It's what you're going to open with.
It's not the early morning. Hey, let's talk. Let's talk at the water cooler. It's like after lunch. Hey, what about that women's match?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. I remember that. That's actually probably more of a DM chat.
Yeah, this is something you're talking. You've got Jabber open, right?
Yeah, it's a Goober chat. It's a Google chat. You're like, hey, oh yeah, what about this match? Oh yeah. I think that's probably where that will fall.
Yeah. So we'll see. I mean, when we going into King and Queen of the Ring, we didn't expect match out of some of these matches, and they ended up being fantastic. So I'm sure they will have some crazy stuff happen that makes us go, "Oh, we did not see that coming."
I mean, I think it'll be above average match, but it'll be above an above average match.
Yeah. So we'll definitely have to see what happens, but I don't expect anything crazy.
No.
All right. Next up, we've got the match I'm probably the most excited about, and I really want to see what happens with this whole thing, is the Intercontinental title match between Sami Zayn and Chad Gable.
Yes.
There are so many storylines around this matchup between Alpha Academy and Otis and Chad Gable and Sami Zayn that I'm really hoping it draws to most of a conclusion at Clash.
Mm-hmm.
And here's what I see happening as far as the IC title match.
You go. I have a left field theory, and I want you to tell us what you think.
Okay, I'll go first. I'll go first then. So I think Chad Gable wins. It's been pretty highly reported that he has either re-signed a contract extension or they are getting close to signing a contract extension, and the prevailing theory is winning the IC title is going to be part of that. Like, he's re-signing and he's going to be a champion.
Gotcha.
But he loses the Alpha Academy at Clash at the Castle. They walk out on him, which includes Otis. Otis finally steps up, stands up to Chad after Chad wins, because Chad's going to be his insufferable self, and Otis is going to have enough of it, and he's finally going to stand up, and he's going to do the world's strongest slam on Chad. And the place is going to go nuts, because our boy Otis is finally going to do what he should have done a month ago. By the way, Otis, if you listen, you have a free time on the show anytime you want. You are directly into the front of the buffet line.
Every time.
Every time. You can caterpillar the whole way if you want to.
Yeah, man, I'll follow you. I will be. No, now we're getting into human centipede type of thing.
Yeah.
I will do it next to you. I'll do it next to you.
So Otis slams Chad. Maxine and Tozawa leave with Otis. And then Sammy, even though he lost, he's happy, and he's like, and he goes up to Otis afterwards. There's going to be a backstage scene or something, and Sammy's like, "I'm so glad you finally did this," and Otis is just be like, "I'm my own man. I don't need you. I don't need Chad." And I think he's gonna smack Sammy as well. Which I think, and we talked about this a few weeks ago, I think it's gonna set up hopefully a triple threat at SummerSlam between Sammy, Chad, and Otis for the IC title.
I can see that.
So this is what I hope. I hope my boy Otis finally makes that turn and gets the biggest pop probably of his career as he finally turns on Chad Gable. Chad Gable loses the Alpha Academy, and eventually in 2 months we get Otis as the IC champion after SummerSlam.
Yeah, I can see that. And I on the surface, I 100% think that's what's going to happen. But after we received Amber's questions, I worked this into her first question. So her first question is, Arn Anderson coming back to WWE now that he's released from AEW to be Cody's manager, Cody Rhodes' manager.
Yes.
So there's 1,000% no way that he becomes Cody Rhodes' manager.
No, not even close.
No, I mean, not. I think Cody Rhodes. If Cody Rhodes was new, maybe.
Yes.
But at this point in Cody's career, Like you have a manager to set matches up. You know, that's why the Bloodline has the Wise Man,
Yes.
right? Like you have a manager to get these matches squared away for you. Cody Rhodes doesn't need that. Um, but what if, like what you said, I think Chad wins the IC title. He wins the IC title from Sammy. Um, I think that he is his you know usual just unbearable, arrogant, me,
Yep.
narcissistic self.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the Alpha Academy breaks up at Clash of the Castle. I
Okay.
think you can. I think those cracks get quite a bit bigger for sure. But one day, Arn Anderson comes back, makes his appearance, and guess who's coming out with him?
Ric Flair
Otis? No.
and the Four
Otis,
Horsemen.
Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa. And those three plus Arn Anderson equals
4.
4.
Because what do we need? Another faction.
That's well, WWE is all faction right now.
This is the faction era.
It's a faction era. It's the Barney faction. We're all friends. Let's all play nice in the sandbox together. Garbage. I love you. You love me. Blah blah blah. Punch somebody in the face, and you know what? Make their lip bleed. But I can see. I mean, and this is where it comes from, Westfield, because there's no way Arn Anderson is coming back. See Chad winning the title, Arn Anderson coming back. They form the four whatevers now. They're not going to be the Four Horsemen. They'll be the four somethings or others. And maybe they're like the four beef eaters or something.
Yeah.
And then he gets Otis to Money in the Bank. And then Otis makes his run at Money in the Bank. I'm not saying he's going to win, but I think he steps out with because Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa are very much right now kind of followers, and I think that Otis wants to be his own man, but that's a big bite of the elephant for him, I think.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's going to step out his own man as his own man and leave Tozawa and Maxine high and dry.
No,
So,
and when I say he steps out, he's like, I'm my own man. He's basically saying, I don't need Chad to coach me anymore. I don't need Sammy to coach me anymore. And basically, he is now the head of the Alpha Academy. So he's the new Chad Gable, who Maxine and Tozawa still follow. So they're still the Alpha Academy. But he doesn't need, the guidance of Chad or Sammy to be successful. Is what I mean. Not that he's, he's still trying to follow or anything that way, or totally leave Maxine and Tozawa, because I don't think that's happening.
No, but I see him. I mean, and I see them dumping the Alpha Academy name.
Yeah,
if they're gonna break out, they're gonna be something. They're gonna be their own thing.
Hey,
so
then maybe you get rid of the shoosh. I know how much you love the shoosh.
That's Chad's thing, though. That's not an Alpha Academy thing. That's a Chad thing, and I don't like Chad, and I don't like the shoosh. But I still think that stays. And and all he's doing, he's ripping off Pauly Shore from Encino Man. That's where it came from. He even said that's where it came from, and which is understandable. I mean, The Bang Bang came from the B-52 song, so I'm not gonna knock Cactus Jack for doing that. I'm not gonna knock Chad Gable for doing that. So God knows I steal a lot of their stuff during our show, so I can't be a hypocrite. But I see Chad walking away from this, and I see maybe this is Sammy's jump to, maybe this is his Gunther push.
But the Gunther push isn't even done yet.
No, but I mean his Gunther-esque push. Like maybe this pushes him, up into more of a main event guy, at Money in the Bank.
Nah, this is the end of his Gunther push.
You think he's You think he's gonna this Chad, Sami Zayn thing is gonna continue?
No, because the Chad Sammy thing I feel like is more about Otis than it is about Chad and Sammy.
At this point in time, it's 100% a Chad Otis thing. Yeah, Sammy's just kind of that.
He's the good guy of the bad guy. Like he's the good guy trying to stand up for Otis and the rest of the Alpha Academy. But as soon as Otis does that, Sammy becomes irrelevant in the story.
Yeah, so Sami Zayn is like that fat piece at the very end of a prime rib.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's still good, and you want to chew on it, but the majority of the meat is Chad and Otis.
The best of it's behind you at that point.
Yeah, and Sammy is he's that little bit of fat at the very end where you're gonna eat it because you know it's good, but once it's gone, and it's a Chad Otis. It's a Chad Otis story.
Yeah,
it's a Chad Otis in rest of the Alpha Academy story.
Yeah, he stays relevant until SummerSlam and the triple threat match between those three. But then after that, I think he's probably off cards for a couple of weeks, and then kind of returns as a mid carder.
I think
he'll maybe headline a couple Raw shows where there's not many people there, but I think this is the beginning of the end, if not the end, for the Sami Zayn push.
Yeah, I don't be surprised. I would not be surprised if he's in Money in the Bank.
If he loses here, I wouldn't be surprised either. But if he does lose here,
I 100% expect him to lose at Clash tomorrow. 100% expect him to lose at Clash tomorrow. But I also am not going to be surprised when he is in Money in the Bank, and I won't be surprised when Otis is in Money in the Bank, and maybe something happens between those two where neither one of them wins because because of whatever, and there is kind of what solidifies the triple threat match at SummerSlam for Chad Gable's IC title.
Yeah, I can see that, but I'm calling it right now. My boy Jey Uso wins Money in the Bank.
I don't think so.
He is going to be Mr. Money in the Bank. This is my early Money in the Bank prediction. It is Jey Uso.
I think someone else on this title or on this card is going to win Money in the Bank, and it's not Jey Uso because he's not on this card.
Nope.
And it's not Sami Zayn, and it's not Sami Zayn, and it's not Otis. But
so I want to go. We talked about it for a minute, but I want to go through your full IC title and after story. So Chad wins. Alpha Academy doesn't break up at Clash.
No.
But come Raw or very shortly after, Arn Anderson comes in, and they are then broken up eventually, and they are the new Four Horsemen.
So they're having a squabble backstage, right? So they had their typical Chad Gable telling everybody what to do, and somebody getting hurt and it making it all about Chad, right?
Yep.
And they go back and he's like, "Oh, you guys did so great. And everybody's like, yeah, you know what, pound sand, dude. And Arn Anderson walks in and he's like, tells Chad Gable basically where the bear shits in the woods and how far he goes in to do it, and talks to Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa. We can't hear the conversation, but when you're talking to a legend, when you're talking to one of the four horsemen, you listen to what they have to say, and their advice carries a lot of weight, a lot more weight than Sami Zayn does.
Yeah.
And then the next week on Raw, they come out without Chad. So they make their appearance with Arn Anderson. And Arn Anderson is going to come out first and do his thing. And he's going to come out and he's going to come to the ring and he's going to cut his promo and he's going to talk. But then he's going to call them out and he's going to say, we are the new blah, blah, blahs, And he's going to say, we're the yada yadas and I'm taking care of him, or I'm going to, they're under my wing now. And then Chad Gable comes out and he gets into Arn's face and Otis knocks that shit down real quick. And there's where it starts.
Okay. That is quite the journey.
That's a left field. I mean,
that is way out of left field.
That's in the same ballpark as my Rikishi. So those two are there in their own little containers on a shelf, and if they happen, awesome. That's a 1/10 of a chance of happening. But
man, I hope that doesn't happen. With Arn leaving AEW, I honestly hope he doesn't come back. I don't think he comes back. I don't feel like there's a place for him.
Not in the way that it is now. I mean,
no, like if Otis is leaving, he's leaving to be the head of his own faction. Because when Maxine and Tozawa follow him, like he's going to be the head of it. He's not leaving to be under the wing of anybody else. So when you say left field, I feel like this is way left field. You're past the Green Monster at this point.
No, we're in where the pitchers warm up. Like we're out there. Like we're hanging out with the ball boys and ball girls right now.
Yeah,
that's how far out it is there.
So, my honest opinion is, I think Arn, he may come back for like a retirement speech, because it's where the majority of his career was spent. But I don't know. I hope he just kind of doesn't have a major presence in the ring anymore.
No, I don't think. I think we've seen the last Arn Anderson in the WWE.
Agreed. All right, but we both agree Sammy's losing at Clash.
Yes.
We have it happening different ways and way different stories afterwards, but Sammy's losing.
Mm-hmm.
Sammy's losing.
Yours is more realistic. Yes.
But if yours comes true, it's going to be way more satisfying.
Yep. I'll be like, told you, chef.
And I'll be like, you're fired.
Told you it was 3 teaspoons, not 2, chef.
All right, moving on. We have the WWE Women's Championship. We've got Bayley versus Piper Niven. And last Friday, they finally gave Piper the mic, and holy shit.
Yeah, sure.
I text you like after I heard that promo, and I was like, you have to watch SmackDown. Like, Piper just cut one of the best promos I've seen out of any wrestlers this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah, it was a great promo.
And
like,
she totally made me flop my pick. I was all about Bayley when we did our last prediction episode. I was all about Bayley winning here. But I've got Piper. Piper's the only hometown win I have this in Clash in Scotland. She's gonna be the hometown win, and she's gonna get the biggest pop.
Okay.
So really, and here are my thoughts. Whoever wins this match, it really doesn't matter. Bayley's title run has been less than spectacular. It's been pretty, I don't want to say bad, but it hasn't been good. Lackluster title defenses. The matches haven't been great. There hasn't been a whole lot of storyline around Bayley. It's been kind of lame.
Well, I mean,
and
it was
that's
like,
that's no fault of Bayley's.
no, I mean, yeah, they like right after she won, they were really pushing the Naomi like Tiffy time thing, and that just,
It
I mean, that
fizzled out.
didn't really take off.
Yeah.
And then and did Tiffany Stratton, did she get hurt? Because like you haven't
I
seen
don't know.
anything
I
from
don't
her.
know.
'Cause, like you haven't seen anything from her, and now they're pushing this, this Piper Niven, Bailey storyline, which hasn't even been a real storyline. It's been Piper's, jumped her a couple of times and kind of, knocked her into the dirt a little bit.
Yeah.
But that's, other than the promo last week, that's about all that's kind of happened.
If they would have started with that promo 3 weeks ago when they've just manufactured this random beef between Piper and Bayley, it would be a totally different storyline, and I feel like this match would have so much more behind it. But either way, no matter who wins, they lose to Nia at SummerSlam. Like, Nia's going to be the champion after SummerSlam. It doesn't matter if it's Bayley, doesn't matter if it's Piper. Nia's going to win.
No, I can see that. I can see that.
But what I do see happening, because, Piper, I guess, is kind of a heel because she's been attacking Bayley and there's been some shady stuff. I think that if she can get away from Chelsea a little bit and they can push her more as a singles competitor, she can go face. I think
she was very much a face when she was in there as Doudrop.
Yeah,
she was very much a face.
So I think she can do that again, and I think they can easily make that turn because they're not really heel and they're not really face. They're just kind of somewhere in the middle. So I think it'll be easy to have I don't want to say a face turn, but to build her up as a face. So you have a face versus a heel in Nia.
Yeah.
So I think Piper wins. I think it's a pretty entertaining match. There's going to be some interference from Chelsea at some point. There's going to be some interference from Naomi coming to help Bayley, but in the end, Piper's going to hit her. I can't remember the name of her slam, and come out on top.
Okay.
I have Piper Niven winning by pin at 14 and 45 seconds.
All right, I'm writing that down. Piper at what? 14:43?
14:45 via pinfall.
I don't want to short your seconds there, Chef. All right, we'll see what happens. I'm picking Bayley.
That's the popular pick.
That's the popular
I understand. I understand why it's the popular pick.
And it's not because I'm not picking Bayley because I like Bayley, right? I'm picking Bayley because I think it makes more sense as far as a SummerSlam match goes with Bayley Nia than a Piper Nia. Like, I don't think that they can get Piper. I don't think they can do a complete face turn or heel turn on Piper by SummerSlam. I don't think that they can do it. And honestly, I think a Bayley Nia match would be a lot more entertaining than a Piper Nia match. Just athletic.
At face value is what you're saying.
At face value, yes. Piper and Naya are bruisers, right? They don't do a lot. They don't move a lot, and they're it's big move after big move after big move, and they can do big moves on people that are like Bailey and Naomi's and like Tiffany's size. Piper can't do these big moves on Naya, and Naya really probably can't do her big moves on Piper. So it's gonna be more of a push down, push and slap fight than anything if it's a Piper Naya Max. I could be completely out, in left field on that one too, and they could, really pull something out. But I think Bailey wins. Bailey wins, drops it to Naya at SummerSlam. In the meantime, as we talked about, maybe at the EST
Yeah.
taking some time off, Jade wins Money in the Bank, and now a Jade Naya match at maybe WrestleMania or one of the premium events in after SummerSlam, or maybe at SummerSlam. Maybe she cashes in then.
Yeah. So Nia reigns for all of 5 minutes, a la Drew McIntyre.
Yep. Yeah. And she and Jade comes out because if even if EST and Jade retain the title at Clash, I think Jade wins Money in the Bank.
Yeah, I think she's in Money in the Bank regardless.
Yeah, I think she wins Money in the Bank no matter what. And I think she has her eyes set on whoever wins at SummerSlam, which is going to be Nia. Let's be honest. And then she has her eyes set on on Nia. And and like we talked about last week, it's historically been, shown that the women's roster, the women's Money in the Bank holder cashes out a lot faster than the men do.
Typically, yeah.
Men typically do it at WrestleMania, right? Women will do it on SmackDown, for God's sake. They're like, cool, I'm doing it, and that's just kind of what the SmackDown does,
Yeah.
And keep them guessing, and that I think that adds a lot more to the women in the Money in the Bank, for the women roster, and it kind of keeps that women roster or that women's division just kind of like always churning, always moving. It doesn't get super stale. Right now, it's a little bit stale,
especially on the SmackDown side.
Yeah, I'm talking SmackDown side right now. On the SmackDown side, it's a little bit, not so much on the Raw side. On the SmackDown side, I think it's getting a little stale, and I think this is going to churn it up, probably, for the next 6-7 months as we go through premium events and who's coming up and who's going to be the who's going to be fighting who, and Piper's going to be in that mix, and Bailey will be in that mix, and maybe Naomi's in that mix, and maybe Tiffany Stratton's in that mix. You never know.
Yeah, there's definitely some work to be done.
Yeah.
But either way, after SummerSlam, Nia's going to be the champ. But I think Piper is going to surprise you tomorrow. I don't think she's had a chance to show a lot of her athleticism as being the tag team between her and Chelsea. Watching some of her older Doudrop stuff, like, yes, she is a bigger bruiser type superstar, but she's got moves and she can move around very well. So I think we see a lot more of that, and she's able to show some of her range in this Bailey match. And I think a match between her and Nia would be more entertaining than you think it would be.
Well, I'm just looking at like just logistics and like arm length and being able to pick up and carry. Like, you can only reach out so far, and that's just that's where I'm at.
See,
it's like
here's why it's interesting to me, because Bailey beats Piper. It's going to be the exact same match when Bailey goes against Nia. Nia's just bigger. Mm-hmm. It's going to be no different. I expect Bailey to attack a knee or an arm or something to try and grind Piper to the mat. That's how all of these matches always go.
Yeah.
But I think there's a chance for some more compelling things to happen between Piper and Nia than your typical, David and Goliath with, a Bailey and Nia matchup. So
Here's the best thing that would happen with Piper and Nia, and it wouldn't be in the ring. Now that we've seen what Piper can do promo wise, I think the Piper Nia promos up to the match would be outstanding. I think the promos would be a lot better than what the match actually turns out to be.
could be, definitely could be. I think there would be better than Bailey Nia promos.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I don't think Bailey's a very good promo.
I don't think Nia's great either. Like she's done, they've kept him short, which is perfect for her, and I feel like she's been able to stay, on script and be very nice with him. But I think Piper tears her to shreds.
Yeah.
As far as promos go, and I think that's really what helps her, build this this face character. As she came out, it's just like I am this champion. Before you even knew me, before I ever walked through those doors, I was a world champion. If you knew how dangerous I was or I am, you wouldn't stand this close to me.
Yeah. Well, you were out here hugging people. I was already a world champion. So.
Exactly. So, I think this one's way more interesting than I think how it is initially built out.
I can see that. I think it's going to be a good match, and I think it's going to be a good. I think this is going to open up the door to a really good storyline. Whoever comes out, whoever comes out as the winner at Clash, I think it opens up a lot of different doors and avenues for those storylines to go. And that's what the SmackDown women's roster needs, right?
Yes, it does. It needs an infusion of life, and I think they get that after this match leading up to SummerSlam, and I think Piper can help carry that.
Yep.
So we'll see what happens. I've got Piper, you've got Bailey. I have Piper by pinfall at 14:45.
Yeah, we're calling it.
I'm calling it right now.
You're calling it. You say that fight's gonna bake. It needs to bake at 300 for 14 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yep. I'm saying this would be at 450. It's gonna be a hot one, and it's gonna end pretty abruptly at 14:45.
How many plates is this for you, Chef?
This will probably be pretty close to a 4-plater. I think this is 3 and a dessert plate.
Okay, so it's a 3.5 plate, maybe.
Yep. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, moving on to our next match. We have the undisputed WWE Championship between Cody Rhodes and AJ Styles in an I Quit match. What are your thoughts on this one?
This is Cody takes this. There's no way that Cody loses this. It doesn't make sense for Cody to drop the title for AJ Styles right now.
Especially in an I Quit match.
I see. Cody wins. AJ Styles Money in the Bank. He cashes back in. What I think happens is I think Cody wins. Him and Randy Orton start something. AJ Styles wins at Money in the Bank. They do their thing. And then I think the Cody Rhodes Randy Orton thing doesn't continue to maybe continues until SummerSlam. Definitely not as far as WrestleMania because I think Roman Reigns will be back and he's kind of that outlier variable. Once he comes back, he's going to be gunning for Cody too. So I think in the meantime, I think Cody wins Clash. AJ Styles wins Money in the Bank. Cody Rhodes, Randy Orton have a SummerSlam match. Maybe Randy Orton wins at SummerSlam, and then AJ Styles cashes in on Randy Orton. At that time, Roman Reigns comes back and he wants his title back, and he's kind of like a Rhea Ripley thing. I don't care who's got it, I want it.
Yeah. So it's an interesting theory. I think this is Cody putting AJ out to pasture. Cody is going to make AJ quit, and this is basically, AJ's last ride. Essentially, it's kind of that's what I think is going to happen.
I think if AJ Styles, I think if he doesn't win Money in the Bank, I think it's his last. I think he's done.
I don't even think he doesn't. Money in the Bank's not even a thing. I think he truly is. He was talking all this retirement stuff for him to just go out and make this opportunity, but he said he doesn't have time to do all of this. This is kind of his last shot, so he made his last opportunity. And Cody is going to be one of his last matches, if it's not his last match in WWE. I think this is Cody putting AJ out to pasture. They're going to put on another great match. Like the match between Cody and AJ at Backlash was a fantastic match. So I think they put on another banger of a match. But AJ loses, and then we don't see him for a bit, or we go back to those, emo kind of, what am I going to do? Like Sami Zayn-esque leading up to
Drew McIntyre, poor me bullshit.
Exactly.
Yeah, I can see that.
And he does eventually either retire, or he says he's going to step away for a bit, and he actually does. So
yeah,
I think this is the last big match AJ gets.
And maybe this opens up a new Cody Rhodes for us.
Yeah, and I think what you're saying about Randy Orton, I think that's kind of next in line for Cody. Is Randy? I think they build something up between Cody and Randy for SummerSlam.
Because I think AJ Styles and Randy Orton are both kind of like, like there's light at the end of the tunnel for them as far as their wrestling careers go. They've been in the business for a long, long time, and I think that they're both kind of like looking for the right time. They want to hang it up on under their terms,
yes,
right? And which they both deserve. Let's be honest.
Yes, they do.
AJ Styles, has been in the business for 20 plus years, done some amazing things. He deserves to hang it up the way that he wants to hang it up. Same thing for Randy Orton. The problem is they can't both hang it up the way they want to hang it up at the exact same time. So, got to figure something out.
And I mean, they're not going to be able to hang it up with the championship win.
I don't think so. That'll be too. You'll be letting everybody behind the curtain a little too much on that one.
Yeah. I do think, like I said, I think there's something between Cody and Randy up until SummerSlam. But Cody retains through WrestleMania. And that's where he and Roman finally have a rematch, is WrestleMania.
You think?
Yep. I think they make it 3 in a row.
Is it scripted, or when does Roman come back?
Roman comes back leading up to SummerSlam. I wouldn't be surprised if we see more of him, or like we actually see maybe like a clip of him or something leading up to Money in the Bank. But I don't think we see a true return until after Money in the Bank and starting to build that story back up.
Does the new bloodline turn on the wise man, and he shows up to save the wise man?
I think something along those lines, yes. I think Solo hasn't really been talking to Roman. Paul Heyman knows he hasn't really been talking to Roman because Paul really has been talking to Roman. And so he knows everything Solo's saying is bullshit.
Yep.
So when Roman comes back, there's going to be a civil war between OG Bloodline and New Bloodline, which is going to be settled in one way or another, with a new with a definitive, undisputed tribal chief, essentially, either being Solo or Roman.
Gotcha.
And then like that whole thing has got to settle first before there's any kind of title match buildup. I think Roman wins that, takes his spot back as head of the table, and then starts to build up again into I want my shot. I want my belt back.
I can see that.
So long term, I think that's what's happening with Cody and the Bloodline and Roman Reigns, but they've got to figure out this whole Bloodline thing. There's going to be a civil war in the Bloodline when Roman comes back. I think Jimmy Uso comes back with him.
Okay.
And hopefully Rikishi.
Yeah. Not happening, but would be amazing. Oh, yes. The roof would blow off whatever arena they are in.
So yeah, and he comes back with some other member because I don't see Jay leaving Raw anytime soon, and unless they all go to Raw, I don't think Jay Uso has much of a part in it.
No.
But it's going to be Roman, Jimmy, and somebody else.
Someone else that they've recruited. Someone
yes.
That is in the Bloodline, but not in the WWE.
Yes.
And has never been in the WWE, and it's not the damn Rock.
It's not the Rock. No, because Roman and the Rock have their own thing.
Yeah. That reopens the Roman Rock Cody Rhodes thing,
Yes. And I don't want to see any more of The Rock. I don't know who does, but I got enough of him. I don't want to Roman can do it on his own. We don't need The Rock.
No. Roman can carry that weight. Like
he can, and he did for 4 freaking years.
Yeah, we don't need these cameos from the golden age of wrestling. We don't. It is great to see them, but I don't think it's not when at this caliber with Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns. Those aren't needed. That's not needed to make it like a super fight.
No, it's not. But those two alone are enough. Those two alone would be a huge draw. And when Roman comes back, he is going to get a huge pop. Whenever he makes his return, the crowd is going to go nuts. They're going to go apeshit when Roman comes back.
Because they want him. They're like,
they do.
Here's the dude that we love to cheer against. Thank you, Lord, for bringing him back.
We hate Solo.
Yes, we hate Solo. He's a dom, man. We just hate him.
He was the enforcer for a reason. There's a reason he wasn't the head of the table. He wasn't the tribal chief.
Yeah.
He can't he's I know they're trying real hard, and they're trying to make him make it a super heel faction, which they're doing a very good job at.
We're criminals and blah blah blah. We can't even get passports and blah blah blah. We purposely did not put these people. We are very very dangerous. We are very very okay. We get it.
Yeah,
you're very dangerous.
You know who doesn't care? What? Kevin Owens.
Everybody in the WWE is pretty damn dangerous, so we get it.
But yeah, we want Roman back.
Yeah, for sure. I don't want him to be the champion for 16 years, but where the women's roster or where the women's championship is getting a bit stale, as is the men's.
Like right now, you're saying the men's title is a little bit stale?
I think it can be. I mean, I think this like this AJ style Cody Rhodes thing
Yeah, there's
is a
nothing
little.
real compelling right now, I guess you could say.
I mean, it's good and it'll be a good match, but this is like 3 weeks of work right here.
Yeah.
It's nothing super major. Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns was years in the making.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah, like so.
In
I
the
mean,
interim, I want more Cody Rhodes, Logan Paul.
uh, well, here's the thing: if if LA Knight takes that title off of Logan Paul, maybe we do get that.
I said that's what's gonna happen, and Logan Paul finally is like, all right, I'm going full time.
I
This
think,
is
yeah,
this is my job now. I'm coming after you, Cody.
I think so.
And they
I
can
would.
build a compelling story there. They were able to do it in the 3 weeks leading up to King of the Ring. Um, but yeah, I think they could do a much longer build up
I think
for
there's a
that.
promo right now that's going on SmackDown today between Logan Paul and LA Knight where a match is getting signed for either Money in the Bank or SummerSlams between those two. I think they're already set for SummerSlam.
Yeah,
So I think the LA Knight Logan Paul kind of storyline up until SummerSlam is going to be pretty exciting.
I think it can be.
LA Knight's really good on the mic. Logan Paul's the dude you love to hate because he's really good on the mic too. I think that's gonna be pretty entertaining. It might not be as good a match as Cody Rhodes and Logan Paul, but I think the promos will be good enough to make the match at least a four-plater.
It'll make it interesting for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah, Cody versus AJ. Cody's going to win. I think he puts AJ out to pasture. You think Cody wins? AJ goes back and there's some money in the bank and possibly another match at some point. But
I I don't think AJ fully retires until WrestleMania next year.
I think
I
that's
th-
a fair assessment. But like I said, I don't think he gets another major shot after tomorrow.
I don't know if he actually holds the belt, but I think he will be in the storyline for something up until WrestleMania. But I don't think he actually puts his boots down until WrestleMania.
All right. Moving on to our last match, the World Heavyweight Championship between Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre. I want you to go first on this one because I have a theory of what's going to happen, and I haven't told you what it is yet.
No, I'm excited. And this kind of lumps works in one of Amber's questions. She talks about um CM Punk, um Clash of the Castle. Currently McIntyre and Gable are favored for victors. We already talked about the Gable thing. For their respective matches. With CM Punk interfering, what do you think? So basically, she's asking, will CM Punk interfere with the Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest um, match? I say no. I say he makes an appearance, but I don't think he does that until after the match is over. I think Drew wins this match right out. I mean, because Judgment Day is away from the ringside. Um, uh, so I think Drew McIntyre. I think Drew McIntyre is the only one that wins it on his home soil.
Okay.
And then I think Drew wins. CM Punk does what CM Punk does, and ruins his moment for him, and just just by showing up. It might be on stage. It might be. I wouldn't be surprised actually if CM Punk is actually a guest announcer during this match.
I wouldn't be surprised with that either.
Um, but I think Drew comes away with this. I think Drew. I think this is Drew's time. The Damian Priest as a champion right now, it it's been more about the Judgment Day than Damian Priest. Like, he hasn't really shown me anything.
Yeah, there hasn't
Like,
been a whole lot to his reign so far.
yeah, and I think he needs to get his ship right before um in regards to the Judgment Day. So I think Drew McIntyre wins the match, and Damian Priest goes and deals with the Judgment Day. I don't think we see Rhea. I think it's purely him, JD, Finn, and Dom and Carlito, and I think some shit happens at the Judgment Day. I wouldn't be surprised if Liv is there, but I don't see a major like Judgment Day thing happening. So anyway, Drew McIntyre, CM Punk doesn't interfere, but he definitely gets back in Drew's head. So that's my pick. So your turn to take us on a journey there, Chef.
All right, let me tell you a story. So I have Damian
About a
Priest.
story all about now.
I've got Damian Priest winning. And there is no Judgment Day interference. CM Punk does show up, but he doesn't get physically involved. So he's just there. I don't know if he's necessarily a guest announcer, but he maybe has a seat in the front row. He's just there as a presence. So
Okay.
what I see happening is this is the final nail in the coffin that sees Liv Morgan take ownership of the Judgment Day. So, yes. So, she's talked about the whole time, since she's taken the title, I want to take everything from Rhea. That's the title, that's Dom, that's the Judgment Day. And there's been bits and pieces throughout the weeks where she's taken little shots and little things and, slowly chipped away at what is the Judgment Day. Nothing has really been, targeted to Damian Priest, but it's been very, very well documented and very well shown what she's been doing with Dom.
Mm-hmm.
But, before one of those episodes of Raw, she was talking to JD, which they showed on TV. And then on Raw last week, Finn Balor took her hotel key card before his match with Braun. Or Drew, sorry, before
Drew.
his match with Drew. So he had Liv's hotel card. So those three, I think, have been mixing it up with Liv. And what seals it is she interferes in a way that allows Damian to win. So she distracts Drew McIntyre. She gets the job done so Damian can retain his title. And she's now the de facto head of the Judgment Day.
Okay.
So she's basically the big women's heel champion, and she is going to, I guess, complete her revenge tour by taking Dom and the Judgment Day away from Rhea. And then I think we see Rhea return, not necessarily tomorrow, but before Money in the Bank.
If Liv takes Judgment Day tomorrow, Rhea's back on Raw Monday.
Yeah. And then Drew's going to cut a promo where it wasn't fair, the Judgment Day was banned, and she's not a part of the Judgment Day.
No, she's not the Judgment Day.
So, yeah, I think she gets involved so Damian is able to retain just so he can lose to Gunther at SummerSlam. And set up the Rhea Ripley Judgment Day, I guess, feud to come.
Okay. It's an interesting take.
So that's my pick. Damian wins, Liv takes over the Judgment Day, and then there is a feud for between Liv and Rhea for the Judgment Day.
I can see that. I mean, it's a left field thing, like, but you know, that's a great. I mean, that's a great twist of the story, right? Like, the places are there for that to happen, but it's a great magic trick, right? We're all looking over here. We're all looking at the Dom Liv thing. We're all looking at the Dom Liv thing. But bam! Actually, I'm taking the whole thing. So cool.
And the nail in the coffin is when Rhea comes back and is like, "Oh, you took everything. You took this. You took this. You took the Judgment Day." Liv's gonna give the Judgment Day back, and she's like, "I didn't even want them. I just wanted to show you that they weren't loyal to you. They care nothing about you. That in a matter of weeks, I was able to bring them to my side because that's how much they didn't care about you." And she's gonna tear her down that way.
That would be such a great move. I mean, not a great move. That'd be such a great Liv move.
Yes.
Like, here, I didn't want these things. Which then creates more animosity within the Judgment Day.
Yep. And then Dom is an orphan.
He doesn't have a mommy anymore.
Liv doesn't want him.
No.
Mommy doesn't want him.
No.
Daddy doesn't want him.
No. He's just out on the side of the road having big trucks flick rocks at him.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think and this is me saying this is how she completes the revenge tour. She takes the Judgment Day, tears it down, and gives it back and just to prove to Rhea what you built was truly nothing.
This was a house of cards that you built.
Yep.
How can you be a champion when these people can't even be loyal to you?
Exactly. They can't even take care of their own business.
They're not loyal to you. They're loyal to this.
Yep. So.
Yep.
That'd
be a good move.
That's what I hope happens. That's my pick. That's how it happens.
That'd be an oh shit move right there.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's like, wow, did they really do that?
Yeah. I'll be very disappointed in you tomorrow if that doesn't happen.
Exactly.
Jeff.
Paul Levesque, if you are listening, we are available for hire.
Yeah, like, come on, man.
We can give you some crazy ass storylines, but I guarantee you they'll be entertaining.
Yeah, like they might not have a lot of staying power, but they'll be like, "What the fuck is happening now?"
It's like, what the hell?
Rikishi? Yeah, baby.
Trust me.
Yeah, you. Oh, here's the new tag team. Rikishi, Otis.
Yes. I love that so much.
Accompanied by Scotty Too Hottie, so he can get the worm and the caterpillar at the same time, going around Rikishi doing the Rikishi dance.
Exactly. That's on my bucket list of things that need to happen now.
Imagine Otis in his mullet in a bucket hat. Come on. Hawaiian shirt, dancing down the ramp.
Yep. All right. So let's go back before we get too far in left field. Recapping our picks. Women's tag title, we both have EST and Jade winning. With an outside chance of something happening to free up Jade to go solo, but we think Jade goes to Money in the Bank regardless of her tag team status.
Yep.
We both have Chad winning the IC title. You have the Four Horsemen making a return in the form.
Somethings. It's not going to be the four. Yes.
The Four Somethings making a return with Arn Anderson at their helm with Otis, Maxine, and Tozawa. I have Otis turning on Chad and basically shunning Sammy, saying I'm my own man, and he is the new head of the Alpha Academy. The WWE Women's title, you've got Bayley retaining to go on in fight Nia at SummerSlam. I have Piper winning this one, who's my only hometown pick, and completing a face turn in time for SummerSlam between her and Nia. We've both got Cody Rhodes beating AJ Styles. In an I Quit match, I have this being AJ Styles, kind of Undertaker last ride type deal. You've got AJ Styles.
But then the last ride lasted forever. Like, the last ride was a really long ride, dude. So
this is the beginning of the end, and I can see it ending at WrestleMania, but AJ Styles does not get another shot at a major title after this. He definitely doesn't win another title after this. He may get a shot at maybe LA Knight or something to give him some kind of credibility in a final match or something. But I don't think he doesn't headline anything anymore.
Okay.
You have it prolonged with him being a little more prolific, but ending it at WrestleMania.
Yeah, I think he's more of a major player up until WrestleMania, and then he either ends it at WrestleMania or he ends it at the SmackDown right after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I think that he's in his last year-ish of competition.
He's not long for the ring. I have it happening sooner than you do, but we both say he doesn't win, and this is kind of the beginning of the end.
Yep, this is his final tour.
Yep. And then finally, Damian Priest and Drew McIntyre with the Judgment Day banned from ringside. You have Drew winning in the hometown match, with CM Punk being involved, but kind of ruining the moment afterwards.
Yep.
I have Damian winning with Liv interfering and kind of solidifying her grasp on the Judgment Day to then just tear it down in front of Rhea.
Yep.
So those are our picks. Call us on it. We'll probably do a recap episode next week. We still have a couple more questions we need to answer from Amber. So on Raw, Ricochet got he played pinball and he was the ball from Bronze Breaker, the Tool.
Bronze Breaker.
So
no, he's Bronzeberg is what his name is.
Bronzeberg.
Bronzeberg.
I don't even want to put him in the Berg category.
He's a Bronzeberg, man.
So he's
Bronzeberg.
No, don't even. He's not even worthy of the chant.
No, he's not.
Even if it's making fun of him. So, anyways, the bigger rumor is Ricochet.
Can I call him Nugget?
You can call him
Nugget.
I think it's been long enough. You can call him Nugget because he is a Nugget.
Chant for him.
He was a Nugget. Owen Hart was not a Nugget. Neither was the Blue Blazer.
No.
Bronze Breaker is a Nugget.
Yes, he is.
But not at my buffet. I only serve premium food.
No, we're not going to serve him.
Nope. You are not welcome at our buffet.
You are not welcome here, sir.
Take your nugget elsewhere.
Because you're just going to throw people through over tables and stuff. And people that are smaller than you bully.
So, anyways, it's highly reported that Ricochet is leaving WWE. He is not expected to re-sign his contract that's up this summer. Amber asks if we think Samantha, the ring announcer, is going to leave with him because they are engaged. I believe
they are.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They're knocking boots.
I don't think Samantha leaves. I think she's pretty happy with the WWE and she understands that it is a business. And she's got a really good thing going for her with the WWE right now. So I don't see her leaving the WWE for wherever Ricochet goes.
Where do you think Ricochet goes?
I think he goes to AEW.
For sure. Yep,
Yeah,
I agree.
I don't think he goes like AEW's the the number two kind of promotion right now, outside
Hmm.
of all of the the TKO brands at this point. Um, they've got a lot of good stuff, and I don't think it's out of the question for him to come back to the WWE. Um, the guy's amazing in the ring, but he's god awful on the microphone.
Yeah,
So he's got to learn to work the mic and cut some promos a little better before he's ready to come back to the WWE.
I think
And
so.
I think the AEW is the best chance for him, the best spot for him to get that.
I agree. I agree, and I think that that's probably maybe one of the reasons why he's leaving is because I don't think he's getting his shot that he thinks he should get in the WWE, right?
Yeah,
I think he knows he's probably not, you know, in line for either of the major championships, the undisputed or the world heavyweight. But, maybe they have it. He was the speed champion for a while, which is great, which you don't really even, that's not even like
a thing. They don't
a,
even carry it
a
around at the regular
that's not a
shows.
televised thing. Yeah,
No.
it's like it's this own little separate thing, which is okay. That's cool, but um, so he's not getting his shot. He is basically being a jobber for this dude that is can just throw him around like a rag doll, and that's how you get your career shortened, and you get hurt. You know.
Yeah, I don't blame him for wanting to leave after what they've had Bronze Breaker do.
Yeah,
Um,
it's every week he knows he's gonna get the shit kicked out of him.
yeah, for no
Yeah,
apparent reason other than Bronze is upset because I didn't go to King of the Ring.
and it's over, dude. Get like, you know what? Sorry. Put your big boy pants on and get over it, man. Like, talk to somebody. Sit down and talk to somebody. Sit down and have a cry about it, dude. Like, taking it out on Ricochet and Dragunov is not healthy. And um, so yeah, I think he knows he's going to get a lot more opportunities at AEW.
I think he does, and I think it gives him a chance to progress and get better on the mic, cut some better promos.
I agree, and I think maybe that's the only reason why he's not in the U.S. Title Championship, because him and Logan Paul could probably make a 7 plate match if you really put them together.
Oh yeah, like the athletic ability betwing those two, like they
Oh
could pull off some shit.
yeah,
Um,
like it would be an
if
amazing
nothing else, the
match.
promos leading up to it would suck, but the match would be amazing.
Yeah, yeah. So I think maybe get him in some promo classes or something, but or it's like, hey man, learn from these guys. Like, this is a great guy cutting a promo. This is a great cut in promo. You're great in the ring. The only thing that's holding you back from this main card event is you can't cut a promo, and that's why you get a lot of these talented guys and girls not on the main card is because they can't cut a promo very well.
Yeah, I
And
mean, and the WWE brand is kind of the gold standard right now. Like you
yeah, if
have
you
to be
can't,
able to do it better than anybody else. If you want to be the top of the WWE, you have to have it all.
yep, and that's why Bronze Breaker was not in the King of the Ring. He can't cut a promo.
No, he can't. All he can do is bark and be and yell and scream and run around.
I run fast and spear. I run fast and spear. Cool, dude.
He's clocked at 23 miles an hour. I don't care.
Guess what? We've already had a dude that has done that, and
He was way more exciting.
he was way more excited. And he already had that same little tattoo that you got right there. Been done, man. Like, find a different angle because that shit's been done and it's been done really, really good. And you're not that guy.
No, you're not even close to that guy.
Nope.
Yeah, so that's what happens with Ricochet. Samantha stays in the WWE. Ricochet goes to the AEW for a few years. Probably has some decent success, I think, before maybe making another run in a couple of years back in the WWE after his contract with AEW expires.
And I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, if Samantha goes with him. maybe that was kind of the Easter egg for her following him out on Raw.
Maybe.
She's leaving with him.
I wouldn't be surprised if that happens. I don't think it does, but I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, it's not going to happen right away. I am assuming that their contracts probably end at different times, but they might have to see where they're at. If he's
Well,
been the AWE for a little bit, she's been WWE. They're not going to be together every week like they are. So they might be in a different point.
and maybe
You know,
AEW doesn't want a new ring announcer.
yeah, maybe not.
So I don't think that's guaranteed there either. So I think she stays. She's got a good thing going with the WWE. I think she's well liked around the organization, and I think she stays.
Yep.
And then I guess moving on to the last question, Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, he signed with the WWE as of December.
Well, we have the Enzo Amore. We have the Enzo Amore.
Yeah. You go ahead and grab that one.
I'll grab that one. So Enzo. So the question is Enzo Amore, Big Cass, not in the WWE now, and Carmella's out, who was their manager for a while. Is out because she had a baby, but she developed drop foot with the baby. So she's out of action until if that can get, I guess, better. Drop foot probably not. So I think that Carmella is probably incapacitated as far as wrestling goes, because that's more of a neurological thing, not a foot thing. But is there a spot for them in the WWE? And the kind of a sub question: if Carmella can't get back into the ring, do you think there's some type of opportunity, like Corey Graves have? So she's married to Corey Graves, the announcer, right?
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a spot for Enzo Amore and Big Cass in the WWE. I've said in the last few weeks that the WWE needs to reduce their roster. I think it's pretty
saturated right now.
It's pretty saturated, and that's why we're not getting very many storylines coming out, because there's just too many people. Like, you can't there's only so much time to create these shows, 90 minutes, and they cut out promos. Thanks, Hulu, you jerks. So I guess we're not getting a Hulu sponsorship now.
No,
Sorry,
probably
Chef.
not. Probably not.
Sorry, Chef. But so I don't think there's a spot for Enzo Amore and Big Cass to come back. But I wouldn't. Maybe Carmella, even if she's not in the ring, and maybe there's an announcer job opening up that we just talked about. Because I mean, Carmella's held every women's title that there's. She's been the SmackDown champion. She's been the SmackDown champion. She's been the tag champion. She's been the 24/7 champ. So she's a very decorated wrestler.
Yeah, for sure.
But she might not have the ring ability anymore with drop foot. She's not gonna be able to run around and stuff like that, because that's just, she's gonna have to wear an AFO, at least an ankle foot orthotic, to combat the drop foot. So there's no way that she can run around in there. But one of the Wyndhams did it with an amputated foot, so maybe she can do it. There's a small, with the right, maybe orthotic, she could return to the ring. But she does have history with Bayley, Jax, and Piper in the NXT realm.
Yeah.
So coming back is maybe just a catalyst anyway. Like we talked about how that SmackDown women's, roster kind of needs a shakeup.
Sure.
Bringing Carmella in at the right time could definitely mix that pot quite a bit.
It could, but if she's not able to get into the ring, I think it's superficial at best.
She can.
It's going to be really hard to develop something if she's not able to get in the ring and do anything. Like,
it depends on what she's able to do.
Yeah.
Like, if she can take a bump, if she can move well enough to interfere on some things and take some bumps and be relatively and be able to sell some things and maybe even perform a few moves. Like I said, with the right orthotic, she could probably be able to move around pretty well. But um, that I mean that just kind of depends on um, how good she can move.
Yeah, and she's also gonna have to want. She's gonna have to want to.
Yeah.
Like if it, and that was the big thing. If they spark the flame again, um, I don't know. It's tough. I mean, like you said, with drop foot, it's really hard.
Well, and
Um,
she's at home with a new baby. Maybe that's being at home with the baby is what she wants to do now.
well, and she's had a great run. I mean, she's very decorated. She's had a fantastic career as a wrestler. Um, could there be an opportunity to her to get behind an analyst desk or something in an announcement capacity? Probably. I don't think it happens soon, but if she wanted to come back in that kind of a role, I think she could.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And then last question: Bo Dallas, aka Uncle Howdy, signed with the WWE as of December, and he's filling the void of the Bray Wyatt family. After his passing, there's been all the QR codes and the scary promos and all of that stuff happening over the last few months.
Mm-hmm.
And Amber's question is, do you think the members will remain the same characters, or do you think it'll be a whole new set of identities? Personally, I think we're going to have Uncle Howdy, and I think it's Sister Hazel.
Abigail.
Abigail. I think Sister Hazel's a band.
Sister Hazel's a band.
Yeah. Sister Abigail, like you're going to have those two, but I think the other four, I can't remember who. I can't remember all of the names.
Well, so you had Luke Harper. He's for sure not coming back because he passed away a couple years ago. Eric Rowan was a member. It was him and I think it was him and Luke Harper. They were the Bludgeon Brothers or something like that.
Yeah.
Funny thing, he's kind of been in the independent or the kind of rolling through the independents until May of this year, where he signed on with the WWE. So I think for sure he's coming back.
Yeah.
I think for sure he will be a member.
So it's I would say it's all but confirmed. Like I have the names here in front of me. I just couldn't remember them off the top of my head. I have them written down. So yeah, Eric Rowan, 100% is all but confirmed as being part of the Wyatt family. You've got Bo Dallas, Nikki Cross, Dexter Lumis, and Joe Gacy. Are all of the rumored people who are going to be the new Wyatt family.
Okay. So originally it was Braun Strowman. I don't think he's coming back to the family.
Nope.
Daniel Bryan, for sure, no.
Nope.
Randy Orton, for sure, no.
Nope.
And John Cena for one night, and for sure, no.
Nope.
But that opens the gate for does Sister Abigail come back?
Do you think Nikki Cross could be Sister Abigail?
So here's a left field one. What if Lyra Valkyria became Sister Abigail?
No, I don't think that's happening.
You don't?
No, I don't. They're building her up too much right now.
Yeah, they are.
And
but...
I don't think taking the identity that she's already got and then throwing her into the Wyatt family, I think it's gonna defeat everything that they've already done with her.
Was it Alexa Bliss that was part of the
I think
in that mix for a minute?
I think so.
Yeah.
I don't know. I was on the very fringe of the WWE when there was the whole Wyatt family thing going on, so I'm not 100% familiar with it. I did do some research on it, but I'm not crazy familiar with it. But I don't, like I said, I think it is definitely new, but I think you keep the core members of Uncle Howdy and Sister Abigail, and I think Nikki Cross can be Sister Abigail. But I don't know what the other four members are going to look like.
No, yeah, I didn't have Nikki Cross. I had maybe looking at who's on the roster now and are not big or not like consistent contributors to kind of the television um, episodes. I have maybe Sonya Deville as Sister Abigail or Kiana James as Sister Abigail.
Okay. Yeah, I think honestly a lot of the stuff is in the air. Like it could go any way. I think the only thing that's 100% sure is Bo Dallas is Uncle Howdy.
Yeah, for sure.
I think everything else is up in the air. I think there is a Sister Abigail. I think it could be Nikki Cross. And then the other members, I think there's some new identities. I think Eric Rowan could still be the same guy, but without the his tag team partner. So I don't know.
Here's a way left field. I'm not even the ballpark anymore. What if it's Sister Abigail becomes Liv Morgan? Because it's rumored that her and Bo Dallas have a fling.
Yeah, I mean that could be a thing. I've seen a couple of theories that way. So I don't think that's out of the realm of possibility, but I don't think it happens early.
I would it.
I hope it doesn't happen because she is doing a fantastic job on her own.
She's too good as Liv Morgan right now. If that's that, you are robbing the WWE universe if you put her as behind a mask and as Sister Abigail.
Yes, she is the number one women's superstar right now, and she is carrying the Raw women's roster.
Absolutely.
So do not put her in the Wyatt family, please.
Directly, right away.
Yes.
Like maybe she needs to respark something, maybe, but
maybe in another year or something, but not.
Let's let this
now.
run its Let's let this run its course right now.
All right, I think that's gonna wrap it up for tonight.
I think so.
We got through the questions. We took some trips.
Hope everybody packed enough snacks because it was a long one.
Yep. Undo your belt and let's get ready to go.
Yep.
I'm rolling to the car.
I'm sleeping I'm sleeping under the table.
All right, so that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks everybody for listening. Thanks again, Amber, for all the questions, and welcome to the Chef's Table. Anybody else has questions? Please feel free to send us an email to rollinheavybjj@gmail.com, and maybe you'll get featured on the show, and we'll bring you to the Chef's Table.
Check us out when you got a new Facebook page. Check us out on Facebook, Rollin Heavy.
Yep, on YouTube we're everywhere. Just search Rollin Heavy Wrestling Podcast, and you'll be able to find us all over the place. So please drop us a like, drop us a follow. YouTube, hit the subscribe button and the bell, and you get all the new content from us. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you next week.